meeting the real people out there who are making things happen. You're not looking very convinced. No, I was basically the other side. See, this is not a course about formulas. It's not a course about, pre-decisions of things. I think the more of these guys you meet, you realize that the world of NGOs or whatever is very vast. So, a couple of things let's quickly do. Before that, I just want to say that we have started uploading. So start looking up the courseware. That's important. Today what I'll upload is for group 1, which will do the presentation on the 20th. Do remember, the case studies are in Eye Hospital. There will be a few readings. So I have not uploaded that. I'll upload because on Mondays it's not convenient for her. So we'll upload the videos and we'll upload that also. So whichever group works on that, remember to leaf through the readings. The readings are not necessarily all about the case or exactly what you present. So what you present, the theme would be, so Arvind Eye Hospital, for the Indians at least, it can be a case study for marketing, it can be a case study for strategy, it can be a case study for finance, it can be a case study for so many things. Here we will treat it as a case study for leadership. We'll have some readings, but don't limit yourselves to that. You can look at other things also. And that goes for everything. So we'll tell you the theme. Every day we'll have a theme. After tomorrow, right now you're still having your exposure sessions. Not tomorrow. On Monday we will have 3 child-based organizations, Semi, Cry and Vidramshila, hopefully. And then thereafter we'll go into the leadership thing. We actually took leadership to start with for a very simple reason. As I explained in the last class, that they have a camp where they want to take interested people, and I think some of you have signed up. So that's that. So we'll actually take off from that. Any questions at this stage? And do give in your project proposals, the rest of you, very, very quickly, because we need to finalize that before we break. So by tomorrow is what I suggested that you do. So then Renita can at least tell you what you're going to work on, and then you can start talking to the concerned NGOs. Very quickly, this is the first presentation we haven't had time to do it. So very quickly, what is this? This is not it. What is this course about? So entrepreneurship is the process of creating value by bringing together a unique package of resources to exploit an opportunity in pursuit of high social returns. This is how we define this. Okay? So this course talks about this. It's not always necessarily about money. All value does not necessarily have a money tag, as you will already have realized, in the sessions that we've done. Okay. So, however, as Anuradha was saying right now, as she was leaving, what can you do? There's a project. What can you do? A marketing plan from the end. So there is. Every organization needs to sustain. Like DNSC also, they have a cooperative group. They need to maximize their resources. Remember, this is something we haven't discussed, but as we keep on discussing, the biggest constraint, as we discussed in one of our last classes, is funds. So whatever little they get from wherever they get needs to be maximized, selflessly. The moment you start siphoning that money, it's bad news. But if you can maximize whatever money they are able to collect, then it goes to a very good cause. Because at least the NGOs you are meeting here, and there are many like them, are indeed very, very passionate about what they do. They do it year in, year out, and they do it far in a more dedicated manner than any manager in the corporate world. That's, for instance, I will show you. So, basically, this is it. This is what we call a process. Okay, very simple thing. When we talk about, these are some definitions. So there's social entrepreneurship, meets needs unmet by commercial markets and usually the government. Social entrepreneurship is motivated by social benefit and successful social entrepreneurship usually works with, not against the markets. Remember, there will be certain NGOs or certain people in the social sector who will come and tell you that all capitalism is bad, all market thinking is bad, because it's another form of exploitation. The little twist we put here in this course is, while we advocate everything and we advocate the rights of these people, we believe in their passion, we want to work within and with the system, not against the system. That's very important. We could challenge the system and say, let's bring all this down, let it be a socialist world tomorrow, and let everybody earn the same money, and let the elderly and the commercial sex worker and the engineer and the teacher and the business manager earn the same kind of money. We're not saying that. We operate within a context, we are mindful of that. So what we say is, we work with, we suggest working with, not against markets. So these are some of the issues: the environmental factors, availability of financial and non-financial resources, what's happening in the environment, the various factors of change, political, cultural and economic. One factor right now, I described to you what's happening with the elderly in India in the last few months to a year. Here, so the process begins. So what is there? The personality traits, skill of entrepreneurship, the preparation to exploit opportunities together with education experience. Many people are getting into this particular, how do you call it, space, which is entrepreneurship, but in the social sector. In one of my first classes with you, remember I talked about that simple example where a young man in Delhi has capitalized on the idea of getting surplus food from weddings and distributing it to the people who don't get one meal a day. Very simple idea, but an extremely entrepreneurial idea and logistically very challenging. Okay? So these are, so it's all about ideas. As we go on, you're getting exposure to sectors, but you'll get those ideas which are very interesting. So they look like all other entrepreneurs. Okay? They have the same kind of motivations. However, their concerns and their orientation are very different. The business entrepreneur is finally about, can I make an enterprise, can I make it run, and can I not only sustain it, but can I make a lot of money in the business? These guys are equally, if not far more passionate, but they are almost controlled by a sense of, sense of control over destiny. So they want to drive things against the tide. So the word here is against the tide. I do things, I see things going wrong. There's this prevalent sense that I can do something about it, and I go about it with a great sense of purpose. And I persevere and I make it work. And what's therefore different here is this orientation. So it's very strange. On one side is entrepreneurship, on one side is a strong sense of society and goodwill. And it's a combination of that. So basically, this is very clear. Often they cannot capture the value they've created in the economic form to pay for the resources they use. Right? So therefore, many of these organizations have to rely on government or other subsidies. Today you heard about Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You do realize that that foundation is subsidizing and also giving them donations. And also these organizations work with a lot of volunteers. So basically a lot of the resources are not paid for. So you see, however, here, basically the difference is here. It's again the stakeholder in a real sense. Even in the business sense, we talk about stakeholders taking primacy over shareholders. But here, this is definitely true, because the concept of shareholders is little or no meaning. So you can look through this, what I'd like to talk about here is, just as I was saying, the difference is you are in this world now. In this world, you're not talking of growth of profits, you're talking of growth of mission. You're of course saying here, with mission-driven strategies, Here, the whole motivation is non-profit with earned income strategies. How do I maximize the money I get or the resources I get so that I am able to fulfill my mission better? So look at all these examples here. This is of course some more international organizations. One very interesting organization you can look at is Oshoka. The other look at oshoka.org. It's a very interesting website which talks about social enterprises, social entrepreneurs, social innovation. Very interesting website, you can take a look. Alright? And here also we talked about Grameen Bank, one of our first classes, Mohammed Yunus, etc. And of course, in these examples, this is on this side, where it really becomes business. Okay, so you can then see the differences between, you go through this slide, between what is mainstream business, what is socially responsible business, what is social enterprise, what is public services, and what is volunteerism. And there's a distinction. So do go through this slide, it will help you know of all this, and on this side you will see finally what is the social value chain. And okay, so this is more of that, the ecosystem of social entrepreneurship, the ecosystem further. Now very quickly the next one. So you can go through this. This is all self-explanatory, so I don't want to take a lot of your time doing this. The other important thing that I want to quickly do with you, because we have already entered the course without giving you all the introduction I need to. So I'm going to upload this today. Look through it. You can always ask me questions. Alright? So I'll very quickly talk about not all of this. All of this will not be important today. So these are very quickly the definitions. What is an NGO? Okay? The common denominator is it's driven by people with common interest. Of course, it's non-governmental. Okay? This is the World Bank definition. The World Bank definition defines them as private organizations, okay, that pursue activities to relieve suffering, promote interests of the poor, protect the environment, provide basic social services, or undertake community work. As far as this course is concerned, this is the definition we largely around. So basically this is what the World Bank says also, that these are typically value-based organizations. I gave you a hint in one of the earlier classes that there are also many NGOs which have different motivations. I didn't delve into that. As far as this course is concerned, the NGOs you will be meeting, working with, seeing, whatever, this is, as you've begun to realize, they're all value-based organizations, and a lot of them depend on charitable donations and voluntary service. You'll see that. Already you've begun to see that substantially. So the NGO sector, of course, has become increasingly professionalized. You learn more and more the cultures of corporates. However, the principles of altruism and volunteerism remain key defining characteristics. Why? Altruism, because the motivation behind it is completely community and social. Volunteerism, simply because you have passionate people, and on the other hand, you have lack of adequate resources. So you can't pay for the best part for what you're getting. Now these are other names for NGOs, and you very often, you saw that come up today with Gulbana. So this is another name, not for profit. A lot of people don't want to call themselves NGOs. Another is voluntary organizations. People who do not pay, who only work with volunteers. There are organizations like that. Civil society organizations. You know, they call themselves here CBO. You heard this today. So I wanted to show you. For our purposes in this course, we consider them all subsets of NGOs. If you go to them, they will define themselves differently. I am a CSO, I am not an NGO. I am a CBO, I am not a CSO, etc. So this is the nomenclature. And of course, these are also certain other names. So, very quickly, what's the evolution? Pre-independence, it was Gandhi, who was a dominant figure, the Khadi movement. And in 1947 to 70, these same things what Gandhi did pre-independence was taken over by the government. And the dominant image that I have from my childhood is the Khadi emporium. Huge structures, a few people. You go to a Khadi emporium, you ask for something, they'll be very reluctant. This is what I remember from my early years. So, this is what happened between 1947 and 70. I've simplified. Okay, these are not, don't take these as golden rules, but just to make it simple. Between 1970 and 1990, while government programs started failing in the social sector, NGOs or this kind of organizations came up with innovative plans for the poor and the marginalized with people's participation. So what are the areas they worked in? All of this: health, education, drinking water, sanitation, small irrigation, forest regeneration, all of this. These innovations later helped modify government policies. So till 1970, what we are going to talk about in this course, what we are already talking about, was entirely the purview of government. In these 20 years, a lot of change happened. So this is the time when these people came up with innovative plans, and the government, grudgingly, these innovations later helped modify government policies. Now, this is the watershed year also. This is the time of the beginning of India's economic liberalization. But in the NGO calendar, this is also the time when government and NGOs started collaborating. And this is when you started hearing these terms now, self-help groups. This is the time of the growth of microcredit and livelihood. Okay? And NGO participation helped the government where? In policy formation and program implementation. Today you already met two sets of people who are telling you, what are they doing? They're influencing government. They're talking to policymakers. Today Help It said, we found 2 days when we could invite people over, we could take up our concerns with them. What did they also say? That our policy is in the making for since the 1990s. So actually this whole period has started. Somewhere it has worked very well, somewhere it is in the making, nowhere is it finished. But it has at least started. You heard of the AIDS Control Organization? Same story. It also started, many years ago, around about, say 20 odd years ago. And it's functioning, so there it's a participatory involvement. Okay, so then these are some details, go through it. The 7th 5-year plan, now it's all done away with. We had Niti Aayog, but once upon a time, India had a planning commission, like Russia. So it was a centrally planned, almost a centrally planned economy. We called ourselves a mixed economy, neither capitalist nor socialist. Well, the result is for everybody to see, changes are there for everybody to see. This is not an economics course, but this is a defining watershed moment, because here the government started recognizing the role of NGOs. So I leave you to see that one of the statements they started making was NGOs could play a key role in India's socio-economic development. Where did it start? This change, 1985, watershed moment. A young Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, took over. So not only economic liberalization, the movement for NGO inclusion also came here. Okay? I'll leave this, right here. You can see some facts. You can see, for instance, that most NGOs are managed entirely with volunteers. They don't have money to pay anyone. These are, how many people work in NGOs, how many are paid, etc. Okay? Funding is largely local, some is government, very little is foreign. Okay? These are some of the countries which contribute. This, of course, gets updated. It's not always the right thing because statistics are always lagging. So these are different forms of NGOs. Very quickly, you have started meeting these people also, advocacy. Durbar is an advocacy NGO. Help It India is also an advocacy NGO because They are talking of issues or causes. Then they have consultancy and research organizations. Okay. Then there are capacity building and training organizations. Right? There are networking and organizations, and in the next class you will meet a mother NGO. Organizations that also catalyze other organizations. So CRY is one of them. You will probably meet them in the next class. Okay. And then there are grassroots organizations. There are city-based organizations, national and international organizations. These people, as I explained in an earlier class, you don't call to others because they are already taking care of themselves. Okay. Then the definition of SHG is here and how it's constituted. Little bit on religious NGOs, we don't want to concentrate. These are some of the causes that NGOs work. Okay. I'll leave it at that. The more elaborate presentation you can go through and do it. Alright. Next will be, we are typically going to talk about the child in the next class. And the following class we actually begin